You can't continue to utilize this system to get goods and services, and then when you don't want to pay or you don't make a payment, default to I don't understand. You can't do that.
Yeah, my name is Nelson Mandela.
Okay. Do you speak English or you need an interpreter?
No, I speak English.
Okay. Who is next to you?
Your Honor, it's Emmanuel Nahimana.
What does he have to do with this case? Why is he sitting in the middle of my hearing?
I was the co-sign.
I am on the case, Your Honor.
Okay. What's his name again?
Nahimana Emanuele.
Okay. Can you move the camera over so I can see his face? Okay, so there's two named defendants on this, correct, counsel?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. I don't know why it only has DO1 set for today.
Well, Your Honor, I believe this is, we had a payment installment order against defendant Mandela only, and that's what we were seeking to set aside. And he filed the objection.
Okay, so you didn't have a repayment agreement with the other defendants?
No, we don't.
Okay, sounds good. So this is only for you, Mr. Mandela. For whatever reason, they've not sought a payment arrangement from your co-defendant.
No, we're not sure. Well,
There was only a payment agreement between you, Mr. Mandela, and Ford Motor Company, correct?
Yes, Honor.
Okay, and it looks like there is multiple payment arrangements in the past that you have not complied with. Is that correct?
Yes, Honor.
Excuse me?
So yes, Honor.
Okay, so the plaintiff has requested to set that payment arrangement aside because you won't comply. And you are objecting for the reasons that you initially was offered a settlement, but when you later requested it, the company denied providing any further offer and proceeding with a garnishment. Even after this garnishment, the loan has been continued to increase despite your payments. You say additionally, you was not informed that missing even a single payment would result in judgment against you. Are you talking about the underlying judgment? Or are you talking about an installment payment order, sir?
Yeah. Settlement. Okay, I will talking about the judgment for the first one for 19,000.
Oh, okay. I'm not here to talk about a judgment. This judgment is long before I ever touched this case, I believe, or maybe I did touch the case. This is from 2022. But we don't deal with the judgment anymore. The judgment is entered. And so now we're dealing with repayment, which you've had a repayment plan. One time, I believe you were supposed to be paying $150 a month, and you didn't do that. And then there was a time where you were supposed to be paying. Was he ever supposed to be paying more than that?
Your Honor, the last payment installment order was for $250 per month beginning August 25th of 2025. And we received three payments pursuant to that, and we have not received any payments since October 30th of 2025.
Okay, so Mr. Mandela, you were referencing missing a payment before you got a judgment. Well, you're missing payments after the judgment.
Hannah, I'm not the one who was making the payment. It was Nahimana.
The payment agreement was between you and Ford. So it's your responsibility. You co-signed?
Yes, Hannah.
Okay, it's your responsibility. You can't blame it on him. You co-signed. So when you did that, you said, hey, if I'm signing so that if he doesn't do it, it's my responsibility. That's what you do when you say you're co-signing for someone.
Yes, Hannah. And can I talk?
Yes.
Okay. When we met at the argument with 9,500, she didn't say like if you will not make no payment, we will go back to 19,000. So, and then after then, they said to take money from my paycheck. So, which means I cannot make no payment in my house. Like I have a family, so I got a 4 kids, and I have to make a payment. So I was behind with the bill.
Okay, you're talking about the agreement that you were supposed to pay $9,503.81 by paying $150 per month beginning February 25th. Is that what you're talking about? You were
Yes, Hannah.
supposed to pay $150 by the 25th of each month. It
Yes,
says
Hannah.
the order further provides that the defendant defaults under the terms and conditions of this order or fails to make payments when due. The plaintiff, Ford Credit Union, shall be entitled to file an affidavit of default with this court, and the court shall set aside the payment plan and reinstate the case to enter a default in favor of Ford Credit Union. So when you defaulted, the default judgment entered in the amount of $19,000. That included the amount sought on the complaint plus court costs.
Hannah, I didn't know about that.
Yes, you did. You signed the paperwork. It says it on here.
In the maybe I did not read it.
That's
So I
not my
didn't
problem
know
that you signed. It's not my fault that you didn't read a contract that you signed. It's your name on it, your signature, you signed it. You're supposed to read it before you signed it. These are not sufficient under the law as reasons why you can object to them setting aside installment payment plans. What you're trying to tell me is that you believe that because you don't speak this language clearly, because you say that in here, a lack of understanding of the system, and you're having some confusion, lack of communication, financial hardships, and you bring up this previous settlement. You understood the settlement language because you signed it and dated it, that this was going to be the terms. And then you didn't even follow that agreement. You missed payments yet again. And then you, since then, have entered into another installment payment agreement, and you've not complied with that either. You can't continue to utilize this system to get goods and services, and then when you don't want to pay or you don't make a payment, default to I don't understand. You can't do that.
Okay. Yes, Hannah.
No.
Okay, and so you've not given me any reason to grant your request, which is to object to setting aside the installment payment plan. So the court is going to grant the plaintiff's request to set aside the installment payment plan because you're not complying with it. You don't make the payments.
Because you did.
Huh?
Because you did when you're making your payments.
I did make a payment. That was only one I missed.
And we send it by order. Mine order, so we don't know if they get it or not.
Ms. Winslow?
Your Honor, if I may, when we filed our motion, they had only made 3 payments. October, and looking in our system, it looks like they made a payment March 30th of $250. So they were still behind, but there was one more payment made than listed in my motion. So I apologize for that.
So it looks like they made a payment August 27th, September 29th, and October 30th is what I have here.
Yes, Your Honor. And then they made one more March 30th of 2026. So just a couple weeks, a few weeks ago.
So nothing in November, December, January, February?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, how are you telling me you only missed one payment, sir?
After the garagement, made order fees.
Hannah, after the garnishment, I did not have no money to pay.
We fell behind.
And then I fell behind the bill.
Okay, so after you missed your payments, you were garnished when?
Let me see.
Your Honor, we haven't received any garnishments since entry of this order. Any garnishment funds, the last funds we received in our system were from July 21st of 2025. And then the
He
payment
mentioned
installment order.
garnishments, I'm sorry, he mentioned garnishments even in his objection. When were you, I don't think you were garnished by this creditor, sir.
Yes, he did.
Yes, yes, Hannah, I did.
You have evidence of a garnishment. I can't see through a phone. You gotta bring it in the court. You gotta bring evidence to the court. I can't see through your phone
Okay.
over the screen. There's a garnishment order in there?
There were garnishment funds being received, but that ceased in July of 2025 when this installment payment order was entered.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that expired since their installment payment order, nothing since then.
Correct.
It would have been after that date.
Right, and of course, if our motion is granted, then that garnishment would go back into effect.
Yeah, so you were garnished before you entered the installment payment plan. I don't see where you had another garnishment since then, sir. What date are you saying you were garnished?
Hannah, that was the only one that just talking.
Yeah,
Okay, well, you can't say that after the garnishment you didn't have any money. You entered into the agreement after the garnishment. You have been garnished when you entered this agreement and said you agree to pay $250 a month. And then you made payments of $250 per month for 3 months, and then you stopped. And this is it's two of you all sitting there. Between the two of you, grown men that through the screen look like you're fully able to work, you should have been able to come up with $250 a month.
Your Honor, if I may, I'm the one who was making the payments because he co-signed for me. And then I broke my ankle like two years ago. I can't work 8 hours. And the dark harassment, it was on him, but every money they take out from his paycheck, I was paying him back every week. And that made me fall behind because they shut off my gas too because I didn't have any money to pay for that. So then after the harassment, I made some payment with my savings. And when my savings finished, I didn't have money for even the gas, utilities, anything. So that's why I stopped. But then I got out again. I started working part-time and I made the recent payments. Even I think I sent some money 2 days ago, so it's gonna be there. I can be current with payments I missed. It's just that it was hard for me, previously few months when I already made the payments.
But you're still not current.
I can be current. We called her, talk about the settlement. Before she said we could get a settlement, but then when we called, she said there's no settlement anymore. And then I was like, okay, we didn't even have the chance to tell her that we could be current. So that's why,
Okay.
yeah.
But you're still not current. When are you going to be current on your payment plan? Today?
We can try by next week. I could be current if she agreed for me to be current. And then we wanna know if we could get a settlement on this one. Cause she promised us we was gonna get the settlement even after the agreement.
She promised you after what agreement?
After when we was talking about the 250 payment, I asked her about the settlement, and she said yes, make these payments, and when you have a big amount, we can talk about the settlement. But when we called about the settlement, she said no settlement or nothing for you guys.
Yeah, I don't know that you're in the best position right now to talk about a settlement if you're not making the other payments. Why don't you try to get current first and then talk to her about making a payment? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to reset this for 7 days so you can get current.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna get current.
Your Honor, if I may, could you set it out a little later? I won't be here next week.
No problem.
Thank you.
We do May 14th at 1:30.
May 14th at 1:30 work for you, counsel?
Let me check. May 14th?
That's correct.
Yes, that works. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll set it for that date and time, and between the two of you all should have this matter current by then.
Okay.
and that can affect my ruling on your request, okay?
Okay.
Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
I just have
You're
one
all-
question, Your Honor, if I may.
Yes, you
I
may.
I just want to know if, she agreed for us to have a settlement later, because now I'm working hard to take this thing out. I just want to know if she would be able to give us a settlement on this one. If we get current.
That's a question for Ms. Winslow.
Okay.
I can't answer that.
I can always take any settlement offers to my client if you have a lump sum settlement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you should get current first and then you all can negotiate, but I don't think you're in a good position for her to go to her client and say they want to make a settlement agreement, but they're not even paying these payments, you got to get current first.
Okay. All right. I would get current, Your Honor.
Okay. You're all set for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.